Hello everyone, Adam here. This is what I've played. Basically just going through some of the video games I've been playing over the last couple of months. Kind of similar to the what I watched videos I do here, which some of you would have seen. Start with the House of the Dead remake, which I got on the Switch. It's a remake of the classic 90s on-rail shooter, which used to be in the arcades years ago. It's basically, the type of game you just want to have a bit of fun, nothing too serious. I mean, the graphics have been improved somewhat, maybe not greatly. It still has a cheesy voice acting you remember from the original game, which actually makes it kind of more fun. But it's really just, when you just want to do something and not have to think about it too much, you just want to shoot some zombies, it's a lot of fun, especially if you played it in the arcade. So the next three games are replays, basically games I've played before, but basically going from PS4 to PS5. SpiderMan, which is probably one of the best superhero games. Graphics are fantastic. The gameplay is spot on. The combat is excellent. It is let down by a couple of stealth sections where you play as different characters, but that's not really what you want in this game. But apart from that, it's still probably one of the best superhero games I've played recently. And I also went through all the DLC on it as well, which has a really good story. I especially like the heist, which features Black Cat. So if you're after a good superhero game, Spider-Man. And of course then I played Spider-Man Miles Morales again. And I like how Miles Morales has different kind of powers than Peter Parker. The combat's still pretty much the same, which isn't a bad thing. If you played the Arkham games, it's pretty much the same as that, which is a good template to follow. And once again, the graphics look fantastic. It's always fun to swing through New York. And the replay is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, an excellent single-player Star Wars game, and has a bit of a mix of everything. A bit of course, lightsaber combat, bit of kind of like platforming. Some of it kind of reminded me of Uncharted when you're climbing on the walls, and a really good story. And yeah, if you want to know the timeline, it's set a few years after Order 66, but before A New Hope. Yeah, so this is another replay, but once again, it's one of those games that's really good to play again. And speaking of Star Wars, played Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. What a fun game this is. Graphics look great. And I will say, it's very funny. There's the self-aware humour. The thing is, none of the humour is offensive or insulting to fans of Star Wars, but it is very funny. And the gameplay is pretty solid, nothing too complicated. And graphics are pretty good, pretty cutesy. It's a Lego game, but I did have fun because just before I started playing this, I played a couple of really serious games, and it's good to do something that's just fun. Also played the Quarry, which is from Supermassive Games, who did the Dark Pictures anthology and Until Dawn. So if you've played those type of games, you kind of know what the gameplay's about. Basically, it's about a bunch of camp counselors who get stranded in the cabins on the last day before they're supposed to go back home, but the guy in charge doesn't want them there for a specific reason, which I won't go into. This type of game where you don't know too much about it, it's really good because it does take a surprising turn. It does have a pretty good cast, like Ted Raimi, Lance Henriksen, Ariel Winter, of course David Arquette, Lynn Shay. I will say the graphics fantastic, the motion capture is fantastic. It is essentially interactive movie, but I had fun with it. Didn't get too many people killed this time, but yeah, it's a lot of fun and something I'm sure I'll replay sooner or later. Also started to play the Avengers, haven't got that far into it because needs an update. Found it a bit, I'm still in the early stages, but I know the reviews and everybody's saying it's not that good, so we'll see how we go, but that's the thing, I can't play it until it's finished updating anyway. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Unnecessary evil of video gaming these days. I will try to go back to it, but I'm not expecting that much. I didn't pay full price for it, but yeah. Another game I pretty much just started recently was Mass Effect 2. Once again, still in the early stages. Yeah, it's on my backlog. I've been meaning to go through the rest of the Mass Effect games. I did like the first one, but I hear this one's, I think it's meant to be the best in the trilogy. So yeah, I will have to get back to that sometime. Also played a game called Phobia Spell, Phobia. The game sees you trapped in a hotel where basically you're trapped on the floors. You've got to find your way back, but it's hard to get out because you're trapped by fire or they're blocked. But there is a supernatural element in there, which you have to be careful of. But I will say there is puzzles there, which had me scratching my head. I couldn't work them out. Maybe it's just me. I had to Google some of them. But I will say the one thing it does have excellent sound design. Yeah, and the graphics are pretty good. It's a first-person game. I guess I did learn one thing. Don't put things straight in your inventory. Look at it first before you put it in there. You might need it. Another thing I learned, write down codes. But yeah, it did give me kind of like, it's clearly inspired by like Resident Evil games by the looks of it, I'd say. But I do want to see where the story goes. It does seem to be going somewhere. Don't know where, but yeah. Alright, have you played any of these? Let us know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Adam, and I'll see you again soon.